Now we've just taken the sweet base out of the fridge. I've let it come up a little bit to room temperature so it's slightly softer and easy to roll. Got 2 small sheets of parchment here. I'm just going to flour up one side and then cut up a little bit of our sweet paste. I just want to take enough just to do one tart, and you're going to rest them in sheets in line. So a little bit of sweet paste onto your parchment paper, and then I'm just going to roll it nice and thin. And I always keep 2 pieces of parchment paper just so that if it sticks, I can put a little bit of flour on top, flip it over, peel off the back, and then there's flour underneath and flour on top, and it's easy to roll. And you can keep flipping it over every time it sticks to the paper. And then once you've got a nice thin sheet, just going to take the other one on top and just roll in circles with the rolling pin, just to make sure there's no bumps or parts where some is dipped and some is a lot higher than the other side. Just going to run over the top just to get rid of any bumps. So then you've got a nice, smooth, even piece. And then we're going to pop that into the fridge to chill down again, so it's easier to line up parts. Just pop it onto a tray and just pop it in the fridge for maybe 5 minutes, just so it's easy to handle. So what I've done now with the sweet paste is taken it out of the fridge. It's had about 5 minutes just to rest and harden up. I've got a tart shell here with either you can put some greaseproof paper underneath, or what we've got here is sticker mat, so either one. And all you do is take your sweet paste and use a rolling pin to roll it up. And then just take it over to your tart shell and just roll it over the top of the tart shell. And then all you need to do is lift up the outside and just press it into the corners. And what I do is just run my finger around the edge just to make sure that it's all tucked in the sides. And then take a small knife and just run across the top and just cut off all the excess. And then what I do is just press the outside a little bit, just up above the lip, just so that you can allow for a little bit of shrinkage. If your pastry's rested really, really well, and you've rested it again after you rolled it, it shouldn't shrink. Cool. Now that's lined, I'm just going to pop some cling film into the centre. Definitely use 2 layers of cling film, because sometimes one can break and you're going to end up with either baking beans or rice everywhere. So one across that way, and then just press it into your tart. And I'm going to fill the centre with rice. You can use baking beans, but I find this gets much better into the corners. It's a lot smaller, and the big chunky baking beans sometimes leave big indents, so rice is always what I prefer to use. You just want to make sure it's really, really full. And that will just weigh down the pastry until it's cooked, to stop you getting big air bubbles and imperfections in the tart. And then once it's in, just fold your cling film into the middle, and that will weigh down the pastry. And we can do rest that in the fridge for another 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to pop it in the oven. So now the tart's come out of the oven. It's about 8 minutes in the oven, and you'll start to get a slight brown colour just around the edge, and that's where you know it's time to take out the tart and take out the beans. And the bottom should be fairly dry by now. And all I'm going to do is take, I've got 2 egg yolks here with a little bit of salt, just to break up the proteins and make them a little bit more loose, so you can brush it in. And we're just going to brush the inside of the tart, which is going to seal it from any moisture. So when we fill up the tart with, say, lemon tart mix or chocolate tart or any sort of cream, it won't absorb into the pastry and make it soggy. It will stay nice and crisp. So we're just going to brush the bottoms and the sides. And then we're going to pop it back in the oven for about 3 to 4 minutes, just to set the egg yolk and create like a glazed layer the moisture can't get through. Okay, so that's now going to go back in the oven, about 3 to 4 minutes. Oh wait, no, sorry. So what we're going to make now is a chocolate tart. It's really simple. We've got our tart shell that we've made beforehand, and then all we've got for our mix is a little bit of cream, eggs and chocolate. We're just going to pop the cream on the stove to boil. And it's a really simple method of making chocolate tart, because you're not cooking the actual mix in the tart, and you've got no risk of it breaking or splitting or leaking out. Or overcooking the tart either, because you're making the two separately, pouring the liquid mix into the tart and letting it set. So we're just going to bring that up to the boil. So yeah, so we've got a cream and milk inside the pan. So you bring those both to the boil, and then just going to add the hot mix over the eggs. And then just return that mix to the pan, and we're going to bring it up to 82 degrees on our thermometer. So that won't take long, so we've taken that up to 82, and then we need to pour it straight over the chocolate to make sure the eggs don't overcook. So just added that in. Going to emulsify the chocolate and cream together, and then while it's still nice and hot and liquid, I'm just going to pour it into our tart shell. Just give it a little tap to even out. You can always just take a palette knife and just go over the top. And then if you're going to glaze the tart with chocolate glaze, I'd just pour it so it's just under the lip, so you've got a little bit of space there to go on with your glaze too. But today we're just going to go straight ganache, so you fill it right up to the top. I'm just going to pop that in the fridge to set.